Well, hello there. My name is Mark Miles, and I love helping trainers, presenters, workshop facilitators really take the results to the next level. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about a topic that a lot of amateurs will kind of run away from. And we need to realize that fundamentally, if you want to do a great job running a workshop, if you want to do a great job presenting from stage, if you want to do an amazing job as a keynote speaker, there is one thing that you cannot avoid, but everybody tries to avoid it. And that is the thing of rehearsal. And I speak to so many people that will run away from rehearsal. They're like, oh, I don't have the time. It's not worth it. Oh, I just can't be bothered, right? But what we need to appreciate is that all professionals rehearse at a very high level. And any professional that you've ever seen speak from stage that's been extremely good has put in the hours and hours and hours of work to get to that stage. Now, I've done previous videos on, how to actually rehearse well. But in today's video, I want to actually talk about what are the benefits of actually rehearsing. We need to appreciate, though, that most people will not rehearse enough. And I was speaking to someone yesterday who was actually doing a keynote presentation. And when I was speaking to her, she's a wonderful presenter, great, influencer from stage, and, she does amazing things, but she was very nervous. And it was very clear to see that she hadn't done enough rehearsal. It was one of the biggest, reasons or catalysts for her nervous energy that was going on. And, let's face it, folks, here's some reasons why people don't do it. Number one, they don't think it's important, right? They just don't think it's important enough to do the rehearsal. And number two, they think they don't have the time or they don't make the time to actually do the rehearsal. Next, rehearsal. Number three reason, it can be a little bit dull and boring to go through your presentation over and over and over and over and over again. Another reason, people don't like doing it to the mirror, or they don't like how they look or how they sound. But here's the trick, folks. Don't do it to the mirror. Actually, do it to a wall if you've got a wall available, right? Don't do it to a mirror because you're going to end up getting self-conscious against how and in relation to how you're actually coming across to people. It's a good idea to record your performance and look back and critique yourself and do that as part of your rehearsal, but don't rehearse in front of a mirror to try and memorize the words. Don't do it. Do it towards a wall or set up some seats in front of you with some empty chairs, right? That's another great way to do it. Next, they don't really respect their audience enough. Now, it's a bit of a strange thing to say, but what we need to appreciate is that the more you rehearse, the more you're actually demonstrating respect for your audience and the people that are going to hear your content. And not rehearsing can actually be a huge sign of disrespect. And you're going to just get on there on the day and wing it, so to speak. For me, that's ultimately a bit of a sign of I don't really care about my audience. I don't really care how it's going to go, right? The final reason that people don't rehearse is this. They think that on the day, the stars will align and everything's just going to fall into place and it's just going to happen. It's just going to happen with no preparation. Now, that's all well and good. But what we need to appreciate is that all professionals rehearse, practice, train until they can't get it wrong. You see, a professional trains until you can't get it wrong, not until the point where you get it right. So an amateur will rehearse until they get it right, and then they'll just move on and they'll just hope the stars align, so to speak. But a professional will practice until it's impossible to get it wrong, all right? So just keep that in mind. Now, let's look at the benefits of actually rehearsing. Let's look at the benefits of knowing your content so well that it's part of who you are. That if I said to you right now, tell me your 90-minute keynote and go off the top of your head without your slides, go for it. You should, as a professional, be able to do it. Only an amateur would be able to be reading off their slides, be reading off their script. A professional, and here's the thing, folks, If you've ever watched Steve Jobs present or Oprah Winfrey present or a big leader who speaks from very large stages, here's the secret, folks. They have rehearsed their keynote or their presentation more times than you can possibly imagine. And we've often heard rumors that Steve Jobs actually did at least like 100 hours of rehearsal before he got up on stage and did a product launch. And when things went wrong, it was because he intentionally made things go wrong. Or he was so comfortable with his presentation that when things went wrong, he was like, yeah, cool, we can handle that, no dramas at all. Right? So here's the benefits of rehearsal. And what I mean by rehearsal is going from point zero to the end of your presentation and going through every single aspect of it to the point where it's like muscle memory. You don't even need to think about it. All right. So here's the benefits. Number one, you can get rid of the ums and the ahs, right? And you can actually pause at particular points because you don't need to think about what you're going to say next. It just comes out naturally, right? Next, if you know what you're going to say, you can get very strategic. You can do particular gestures during your presentation. You can stand in particular places on the stage because you know your content so well, and you can start to get deliberate about other stuff. Next, you can be not phased by what happens around you. So if something does go wrong, you're like, cool, you can roll with it so easily. So if there's a drama, you're able to just roll with it and go, yeah, that's cool, we'll just sort it. And you just keep going and you're not flustered because you don't know your content. Next piece is that you can focus deeper on connection with your audience and not your content. You see, what we find is that amateurs will go, oh, what am I saying next? And get so worried about, the content saying the right thing, and they miss the connection with their audience. And at the end of the day, what really makes you memorable as a great speaker, presenter, workshop facilitator is the fact that you can connect deeply with your audience so they really feel you as a person and your energy, and you're able to put across the right energy because you're not stumbling across your words, because you're not wondering what you're going to say next, right? So I did a keynote presentation, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, but here's the deal, folks. It was a 90-minute presentation. And how many times did I practice it? 60. 60 hours of presentation or 60 90-minute rehearsals so that I knew from point zero all the way to the very end, I knew exactly what was going to happen, when it was going to happen, how it was going to happen, where I was going to stand, what gestures I was going to do, and my level of attention to detail was ridiculous. But here's the thing, folks. It allowed me to step on stage and go, all right, cool, game on, let's go for it. And basically just turn on the show and let it come out of me, as opposed to going, what am I going to say next? My slides, they're not working. All of that stuff that happens when you don't have full integration of your keynote presentation, right? So I just really want to encourage anybody that is watching this channel, if you're speaking professionally or if you're looking to step into a role where you're speaking from stage, get the rehearsal hours in. Get them in, because it's really going to show on the day with your audience. And if you do, wow, your audience will feel it. But if you don't, yeah, you may really struggle on the day to make it flow just like you want to, because you're a little bit conscious about what you're doing and all that stuff. Ultimately, we know based on science and based on human experience, in order for someone to get something to go into muscle memory, somebody needs to do it a minimum of 64 times, if not more. So really be realistic in regards to how long it's going to take you to memorize your content and be able to truly own the stage, right? So just have that in mind. Have the importance of rehearsal in mind if you're planning a workshop or planning a presentation. And the more important it is, the more rehearsal you should absolutely be doing, right? So important. Yes, absolutely on the day. You want to make it look like you're just delivering your natural presentation. You don't want it to look overly perfect, but at the same time, you want to be able to deliver it without thinking about it. All right. Deliver it without thinking about it. So it just becomes part of who you are. And some tips on that: rehearse while you're driving on a long distance. Rehearse in the shower or rehearse anytime you can, where you are. And even, here's a ninja trick, folks: rehearse different portions of the presentation so that when you come to do it and you get to that section or that section you've rehearsed so many times that's just like, yeah, cool. That just comes out of you, right? So definitely there's two ways to rehearse. There's rehearse from start to finish. But maybe you don't have a spend 90 minutes to actually rehearse and do a complete run through. What do? Pick out a section from your presentation and just do a run through of that section. Maybe it's a 5 or 10 minute section, but rehearse. So important. And it's the ninja skill, or it's the thing that is really setting aside or sets apart great trainers, great presenters, and great leaders out there because they put in the time and the effort. All right, folks, hope you got some value from the video. I hope you got some tips and tricks on how to rehearse and rehearse well. And if you want to build your confidence, do the rehearsal. On that note, folks, thanks for watching. Like, comment, share. Let's get this message out there. And if you want to play at the high levels, put in the time. And don't forget, speak to be remembered. Thanks, team. We'll see you on the next one.